In today's video, guys, I'm going to show you the gameplay of the Evolved Knight, and you better believe it is broken. It might even be the most broken evolution in the game when it's released, or at least top 2 or 3. So here are the stats. I already talked about them a bit in the last video, but in case you guys didn't see them, it has 30% more hit points than the regular Knight. The hit time goes from 1.2 to 0.9, so it has a 33% faster hit speed, giving it a DPS increase of 45% overall. It deals 10% more damage than the regular Knight, and the damage reduction 80%. That's the shield effect that it has. When it's moving, it is practically unkillable, and I'm going to prove it to you guys right now. So guys, the official Clash Royale Twitter tweeted out good stats for the cost, hashtag card evolution, with a video showcasing some of the gameplay, and there's so much more after this too to show you guys. This is essentially though just a teaser of, what we're up for when this card comes in the game. So it's showing you guys the range cards. Like, look at this, the Three Musketeers hardly deal any damage. When he's walking, he takes almost no damage. I mean, this just shows you some examples of like the Dark Goblin, Three Musketeers, Magic Archer. It's like he basically doesn't die. This clip is an even better example of what I'm talking about. Do you guys see there's a minion horde, mirrored minion horde, Firecracker, and the tower shooting the Evolved Knight, and yet it didn't even die until it reached the tower and started attacking it? And Expo players, guys, were jumping up and down when they heard about the Knight evolution because they thought Expo would be broken, but it turns out, look at this. The Evolved Knight completely wrecks the Expo, meaning that Expo might not actually be that good if Evolved Knight becomes meta, because how are you going to break through with the Expo when the Evolved Knight is down? And that's not all, guys. Literally, if you play the Evolved Knight correctly, it tanks 2 Sparky shots, and you think like, okay, it tanks 2 Sparky shots, but then not only that, it goes on top of the tower after countering a whole Sparky, and alone can take the whole tower. So for 3 elixir, it counters a whole Sparky and takes a tower. And yeah, guys, this is insane. Even though the Prince is a melee attacker technically and not a ranged card, even though his lance is so long, when he charges into the Evolved Knight, he barely deals any damage to it. And like I've already said, the Knight by itself can take a whole tower on its own. With that being said, though, there are some things that can counter the Evolved Knight. The guards do pretty good against him, as you can see, as well as the Inferno Tower, but the Inferno Tower alone may not be enough, so you might need something like skeletons to distract. And guys, this is just insane. You know how the Inferno Drag is a good counter to tanks normally? Well, think again when it comes to the Evolved Knight. How does it barely take any health away from it? It still had like 60-70% of its health. Now, the Skarmy is going to be very good at countering it. Ground Swarms are amazing against it. And of course, as you guys would expect, the Evolved Knight is going to be incredibly broken inside of Logbait and Graveyard decks, because right now the regular Knight is already good in them, so the Evolved Knight is going to enhance them and make them even more broken. Alright guys, so now let's take a look and see how the Evolved Knight is in an actual game. So we have Logbait Evolved Knight against Expo Evolved Knight, and as you guys can see too, there's some new emotes. There's like clapping emotes. Anyway, so my guess is I would assume Logbait with the Evolved Knight should counter Expo with the Evolved Knight, because obviously when that Evolved Knight is down, I don't know how the heck that Expo is supposed to break through, but I guess let's see what happens here. So, alright, we got Princess. He goes for it at the bridge. I don't know why he played Princess at the bridge there when there were skeletons, but still somehow it locked on Rush's tower. That was a very interesting sequence of events, to say the least. Okay, so he goes for a rocket on top of the Expo. We have yet to see the Evolved Knight, because remember, you do need 2 cycles to actually get it down. So I decided to include an actual game to show you guys kind of like what it actually looks like, an actual game, so it's like realistic and you can actually see the value it gets. Because I will say, I guess in single elixir, you're not even going to be able to use the Evolved Knight, because obviously, I mean, you need to get 2 cycles down, so it's like, you're not really going to be able to do much with it in single, especially if it's like one of your last cards in rotation. So, as you would expect, it's pretty a slow start. Both players haven't really used their Evolved Knight yet, but as we're approaching double here, then we will be able to start seeing it. So once again, Rocket comes down on the Expo. Pretty close game, but like I said, I'm pretty certain Logbait's going to come out on top, assuming both of these players play how they're supposed to, because Logbait should counter Expo anyway, but then it's like when you have that Evolved Knight, it's just going to make things even easier. And as you guys can see, Evolved Knight is here, and it's right around when Double Elixir is approaching. So that's probably how it's typically going to be in an actual game. Looks like he's getting ready to play it here. Okay, wait, what? So he went for a Tesla for some reason. Maybe that was predicting the Princess. But look at that. See that Evolved Knight distracting the Expo, where I saw earlier in this video, I showed you guys a clip of that. And it just literally, man, the Expo just has no chance of getting on the tower if that Evolved Knight is tanking, which it does for such a long time. So the Expo gets a little bit of chip damage. So I could be wrong. It actually looks like as of now, bait is losing, but I don't know. I mean, what you can do is when you're the bait player, you can just cycle rockets on the tower and trip elixir, and that's generally how you win. So again, the Tesla gets set up there. Okay, does he go? Okay, he goes Princess. I thought maybe he was going to play Gun Barrel, but yeah, he's trying to cycle back to that Evolved Knight because obviously you are going to want to abuse that. It's like way better than just the regular Knight. I would say it is easily. The Evolved Knight is probably twice as good as the regular Knight. I mean, it's very situational. There's probably sometimes where it's even like 3 times better. So the rocket comes in right there on top of the Knight as well as that Expo. That was a very good rocket over there. Princess going to come in as well in the middle. Doesn't want to give the... You know, obviously, that was, I think, a bad Princess, actually, because it gave him spell value. That's what I was going to say. I was wondering if that was out of range, and it was not. So, Evolved Knight coming in with a Goblin Gang, and then he goes Princess as well. This is a juicy log, but he's trying to bait it out because he goes in for the barrel, too. But, oh, wow, no log in rotation. Wait, what happened there? What did he use the log on previously? I am so confused, but flies into the lead. He goes Knight, Goblin Gang again. So, it's like, I don't know. This Knight evolution... I think in some situations going to be pretty game-breaking. On the defensive end, like on offense, well, I don't know. That was the regular Knight doing all that. Okay, I don't know. This Expo player kind of sucks. No offense here to Rush, but I don't know what happened over there. Anyway, I was going to say, I don't think on offense the Evolved Knight is going to be too broken. The way I see it being the most broken is on defense. When you're tanking for things such as an Expo, a Mortar... Also, if there's some air card, for example, like Mega Minion, Phoenix, Inferno Drag, it's basically going to be unkillable on your side of the map. So let's say there's a minor minion horde push coming in. If you just go for your Evolved Knight and you just play that, that alone is probably enough to deal with the whole minion horde. By the time the other person's miner's taken out, then your tower will deal with the minion horde, and you have like probably a minute of distraction before the Evolved Knight actually goes down. So that is where I see it being the most useful. But anyways, guys, as I predicted, I had a feeling Logbait was going to win, but that Expo player sucked, to be fair. But even when both players play well, Logbait should come out on top anyway. So as you guys can see, if we check what Knight is being used in right now, it is being used in 11 decks inside of the top 200. And as you'd expect, it's in Mortar, Logbait, Expo, Minor Wallbreakers. So these are probably the decks, along with Graveyard too, with the Archer Queen potentially. Maybe these are the kind of decks we will see the Evolved Knight in, just the decks that have the regular Knight now.